So basically, an object is a collection of key value pairs or properties, and the object can also contain a bunch of methods or functions. I mean, when you have a function in an object, it's basically referred to as a method, and you can typically use this object to describe the behaviors of that object. And I'm going to show you a quick example. Then you know, we'll practice with a couple of more examples. We'll also talk about some concepts that you need to understand within objects. Let's just create a user object. So we have a sample object. Basically, you can print Alright, so now we're able to print this object, and of course you can see we have our object printed on the console. The next thing we are going to do is to add a method. So we have like greet. Let's also have like calculate tax. So let's assume that we calculate the tax based on the salary. So we have a very simple function for greets, and of course, when we run the user.greets, what happens is we have the username, John Doe, says hello. I'm sure you understand what I did here. So for the calculate task, let's just do a very simple, let us perform a very simple mathematical operation here. So we're going to take the salary, which is 200, and multiply this by rates. So let's assume we have the rates. Let's say the rates comes in here, and we have a fixed rates of 10%. But of course, the rate can be increased. So let's work with 10%. All right. So basically, you see we have 20,000. So this is a very simple object, and this object has a username, city, department, salary, and within this object we also have a bunch of methods. Can we extend methods into this object? Let's go ahead and try that. So let's assume we create a new method outside, outside the scope here. Basically, what we have to do is we can just say user dot the name of the method you want to create, and let's assume we want to create a method of what department, and we choose to return this dot department. So we are able to get what department. Basically, what we did here was we created a method outside the scope of the user object, but because we appended the user dots, the name of that method will automatically create this. So the same way we can also create a new property just like this. Now you can see we have 1986. Objects are really flexible, and there are lots more we can do with objects. This is just a very simple example to show you how you can extend methods and also how you can create methods within the object scope. Of course, you can also decide to append to work with the object method using a very simple shorthand. So what you can do is basically also convert this to, you can have simple methods that work like this. We can also use arrow function, so we can have arrow function example. Alright, so this says undefined. Let's verify why we have such error. So we have this, of course, this should be return. This is basically how you create the methods. You can use this pattern, you can use this pattern, you can also do it this way. Or you can also extend it by doing it this way. I think it's all up to your preference. It depends on how you love to work with this. Well, you can also use objects to create constructor functions. And I'm going to show you an example of how you can go ahead and do something similar. So let's start by creating a very simple constructor function for a new user. So let's assume you're working in a company. Let's call this the constructor function of JS. So you're working in a company and you're expected to write a very simple function, that can create new users and probably save them to your database. So I'm just going to show you a quick example. I mean, the use case is not really realistic. There's no specific operation we're performing here, but how would you do something where you can create a new object out of the constructor function. So basically, let's create a new function. I'm going to call this function user, and within this function we're going to have name and department. One thing we could do is we could say this name equals name, and we could also say this first. Oh, sorry, this department equals department. Yeah, so we can create new objects from this. So we can say let's Femi equals new user, and we have Femi, and we have alright, so now let's go ahead and see what Femi looks like on terminal. Okay, so basically I think we're running the wrong file. Alright, so now you see Femi is a new user. So basically this is an object, it's still a user object. We've been able to create an object out of this, and we can also bring out the Femi.name, right? So this would give us the name. You could also say the department, and this would give us the department. Alright, so I hope you understand this simple block of code. Basically, we have function, we have a user, we have name and department, and of course, you see we're getting a recommendation to fix this into or to convert this into a class. VS Code is asking us to do that, but we don't want to work with this yet. We're going to get here. So this is kind of like the old-fashioned way of creating constructor functions. And now you would want to use classes, but I think it's good if you understand that you can create this with this pattern. And yeah, you can also add your so let's assume we create a function. We can say generates random. Okay, let's just say generates get salary. So of course we need to append this to this, and we need to also make this a function. So we can return this dot salary. We don't have a salary yet, so let's append the salary in here. And we're going to also append that here, so we have like 500,000. So what we're going to do is when we say console.log Femi.getSalary, basically we're going to return the salary value, but we also need to do this, salary equals salary, and yeah. So you see we have the salary right here, because we're able to create that method directly inside the constructor function. If you're just getting started in technology, you can join our Discord server to learn from industry experts and network with others. We have over 2,500 learners in various learning tracks, such as front-end engineering, back-end engineering, UI UX design, and product management. You can join the server by clicking on the link below. Until next time, take care.